Energy bills on the rise again, especially electricity. Theresa May made a promise though, didn't she? But could she have actually done something? Or was it just another manifesto false promise? So what is causing energy prices to rise yet again? Well, let's take gas. Is it, as many of us suspect, down to the greedy corporate companies that provide us with heat to our homes and gas to cook our dinner? Is it down to the greedy fat cats that want their dividends to increase year on year? Well, although there is political unrest in certain places that may affect gas prices, the UK gas market must now operate without its biggest stabilising force, the giant rough gas storage facility under the North Sea, and now the planned permanent shutdown of the Centrica site, which provides around 10% of peak demand in winter, means Britain will become even more reliant than we already are on imports of liquefied natural gas or pipeline fuel from Russia and Norway. But where else does the UK get its gas from? How about Qatar? Well, believe it or not, nearly a third of the UK's gas imports are from the tiny Gulf state, the world's largest producer of liquefied natural gas, which it ships to Europe and Asia, including to its three biggest customers, Japan, India and South Korea. Qatar is at the moment though having a bit of a spat with Saudi Arabia, UAE and Egypt, and that has led to the breakdown of transport links. But why has this been allowed to happen? Well, apparently Doha has allegedly been funding extremist groups. And I say allegedly because allegedly so has Saudi, but the UK continues to send arms to them in the hope that it will fund our economy. But how much of an impact would this have on our energy prices, namely gas? Well, a few decades ago, it wouldn't have mattered to the UK. Britain was in fact very self-sufficient in gas from the North Sea until around 2004. But as a result of declining domestic production, that meant that 60% of our gas in the UK is now imported. National Grid, which operates Britain's energy networks, has been monitoring this climb on reliance of imports, and it believes that it could reach a percentage as high as 93% by 2040. This means the Qatar dispute does in fact raise concerns, and as I said before, 29% of our gas comes from Qatar. So with all this going on and the impact it must have on the cost of gas being bought up by Centrica, who own British Gas, could this be the reason why they have increased the cost of electricity to 12.5% to make up the shortfall for any profits lost in gas? Or is it down to Centrica Chief Executive Ian Conn's dividends that have jumped from $3 million in 2015 to $4.15 million in 2016, apparently enough to pay the heating and lighting bills for nearly 4,000 customers on the company's standard tariff? But at least British Gas has done the decent thing, and despite all the political problems over gas supplies, they have not yet raised the prices and have been the last ones to increase electric prices. But will price hikes in gas now follow close behind electric hikes? Even though Centrica have been the last ones to raise their prices, they still earned the highest profit margins in the sector on its customers in 2016 at 8.8% of earnings before interest and tax versus an industry average of 5.6% according to new analysis. But just for the record, remember when Theresa May said this?
What we've done is looked at the results that the Competition Authority, the Independent Competition Authority, found when they looked at the energy market here in the UK. They found that the customers of the 6 largest suppliers in a year were paying £1.4 billion more than they would have done if there was a truly competitive market. I think in those circumstances it's right, as does everybody sitting around the cabinet table, for government to take action to support working families. And what we're talking about is a cap on energy prices.
But can she do anything? Could she have foreseen Centrica closing down the North Sea supply? Don't know. Could she have foreseen the political unrest in Qatar? After all, those types of unrest don't happen overnight. Is she ever going to do anything Or was it just another empty promise like the one she persists in holding Labour to account for? With regards to the unrest in Qatar, if gas now does go up, she can't do anything about that. So in relation to that, it was and is an empty promise. But consider this: Tory donors to the Conservatives that enabled them to spend millions on their campaigns. The energy sector gave very generously. This category is topped by oil tycoon Ayman Asfari, founder and chief executive of oil and gas provider Petrofac, who gave £79,000. Fellow oilman Ian Taylor, president of energy traders Vital Holding, joined him on the list of the top donors with contributions of £65,000. Gas and electricity supplier Scottish Gas also features in the top 5 donors from the energy sector, and they contributed £14,000 to the party. And that's just the ones we know about. So can and will Theresa May place a future cap on energy prices? I'm not so sure. Will she continue to make false promises in the hope we will believe them, you'll believe them, and sit on our bums with our tongues out begging for her to say that it's all going to be okay? That is something I'm pretty much sure about. But there is one way we can combat it and make sure we don't react in a way that later on we may come to regret, and that's unite. Because here it comes. United we can have a better society and a better political system. Unison did it, and they won. What do you think of the electric price hike? Are you going to be able to afford it? Remember, there will be no impact on people with key or card meters. Do you now believe what Theresa May says? Whatever you think, let us know by placing a comment below, and don't forget to share this channel and click subscribe. Everyone, you deserve to have your voice heard. You can do that by letting others know about this channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.